Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my Week 6 NFL Power Rankings. I usually make these videos Monday morning instead of all of the experts who make them on Tuesdays, because I know, although I'm missing information from one game, the Saints and the Chargers are pretty close in my rankings, and although I expect the Saints to win, if the Chargers won, it wouldn't change a whole lot in my opinion of the team, because I have the Chargers high for a 1-3 team anyways. So yeah, I really enjoy making these videos, and you guys clearly enjoy them. I think that they are really good, and I think that they show a whole lot of different things about what happened in the league. I can go over a lot of different things in a short amount of time, and how I do my power rankings is I do tiers. Instead of doing a strict list from 32 to 1, it's tiers. It's 5 different tiers, and there's a bottom tier, a slightly better tier, a kind of playoff tier, a definitely playoff tier, and then the top teams, the elite teams. So yeah, without further ado, so we're going to start off this video with a brand new tier. It's called Dumpster Fire. It used to be called 32 through 26, but I decided to change the name because I thought it fit better with the talent of the level of team that these teams are. So at number 32, we have the Jets, who are 0-5. Then we have the Giants, who are 0-5. Then we have the Jaguars, who are 1-4. Then we have the Washington football team, who is 1-4. The Falcons, who are 0-5. The Broncos, who are 1-4. And the Bengals, who are 1-3-1. None of these teams have appeared to have any great talents so far this season. The Jets have just looked terrible. The Giants played well against Dallas yesterday, but again, everyone plays well against Dallas because they have the worst defense in the NFL. And the Giants put up their first game with over 20 points because the Dallas defense can't play football. The Jaguars, they lost to an 0-4 team. That's enough said. The Washington football team, they won their first game of the season, and then they haven't won since. The Falcons are 0-5, even though their team looks fairly okay on paper. Dan Quinn just got fired, so maybe that might change something. I'm not sure. He's had a lot of success with them in the past year, so I don't know how that would benefit them, but we'll see. The Broncos, actually, they're not 1-4, they're 1-3. So they haven't played yet because their game with the Patriots got rescheduled. That's just hurts them because now they have to play Cam Newton instead of Brian Hoyer. And then leading off this tier, I guess, is the Bengals, who tied the Eagles and beat another. I don't remember who they beat, but it wasn't a very good game. So that's the bottom tier. I don't see any of these teams making the playoffs. I don't see any of these teams making an impact on the season. I'm sorry if you were a fan of one of these teams, but it is what it is. I'm sorry. Next we have 25 through 17. I don't have a name for this tier because these teams are just kind of in the mix. They're not really in for a playoff spot, but they have a possibility of a playoff spot. The Texans were just thrown in here because I didn't want to put them in the bottom tier. So the Texans are starting off this one. They are 1-4 after getting their first one against the Jaguars. Not that impressive, but hey, they're still kicking. The Eagles are 1-2-1 and 1-3-1, just like the Bengals, but the Eagles have played some tougher opponents, and I think that their team is more polished overall. The Lions are 2-2, I think. They've had a pretty solid start to the season. They might be 1-3, but either way, they haven't done anything impressive, and they haven't done anything that warrants them to be one of the worst teams in the league. I think that they're a pretty solid team, but I don't think that they're anything special. The Vikings get the next spot at number 22. They just played a really solid game against Seattle last night. They kept them to a low-scoring game. until the third quarter, where Seattle scored 3 touchdowns over the course of a minute and a half. But overall, the Vikings dominated that game, and Seattle had to win in the last 15 seconds. So they played very well against one of the best teams in the NFC. The 49ers are right above them. They are officially 2-3 after losing this week, and their team is not looking good. Jimmy Garoppolo just got benched. Their quarterback position is all messed up. I have no idea who's going to be starting for them, and they aren't looking too strong right now. Their defense was their redeeming quality, and they just got stomped on by the Dolphins, who fill up our next team in the power rankings are the Dolphins, who just stomped on the 49ers defense. That basically is all I have to say about the Dolphins. They're 2-3 as well. They're nothing impressive, but they have had some impressive performances in the season, and you have to give them credit where credit's due. Above them is the Chargers, who are 1-3, but they have played some pretty strong games. They always play close games, although they don't necessarily win, and they've had a really tough schedule thus far this season, so I can't wait to see what else we can see from the Chargers. Next on the list, we have the Panthers and the Cardinals. The Panthers are 3-2, so are the Cardinals, both having very strong starts to the season. Everyone expected this from the Cardinals. I think that their offense actually has been a little disappointing in some of these games from what we were expecting or from what we saw in the first couple of games, but they bounced back yesterday. They didn't move at all from number 17. The Panthers moved up a little bit from last week, up to number 16, as they improved to 3-2. If either of these teams get a win next week, they will be in the playoff bracket. So they have potential, and they're doing very well. I just haven't seen enough from either of these very young teams to know what they're going to be, especially with Christian McCaffrey out for the Panthers. Next, we have the borderline playoff teams, and I didn't change the color scheme of this. All of my color schemes are based off of the best team in the division. I forgot to change the color scheme of this one because I used to have the Rams in here, and then I moved them, so I apologize for the color scheme. So the Cowboys are starting off this division, not division, but this tier, as number 16 in my rankings. They just lost Dak Prescott, but they still have a backup quarterback in Andy Dalton, who's very solid, and they have the second best receiving core in the league. So Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and of course Amari Cooper, and they can't be stopped. They're the second best receiving core in the league, and even with Andy Dalton at your quarterback instead of Dak Prescott, I'm so sorry for him. The Cowboys' offense should be fine. Their defense still needs to get it together, though they can't be letting the Giants put up 34 points. The Giants haven't scored over 16 the whole season, and they just put up 34 on Dallas. So above the Cowboys, you have the Saints, who are 2-2. I expect them to win against the Chargers tomorrow. That's why they're here. If they lose to the Chargers, then the Chargers will probably be here, and the Saints would probably be in 25-17. But we'll have to see what happens tonight. The Buccaneers are right above the Saints. Buccaneers are 3-2, and they're having a very solid start to the season. They just lost to the Bears, so I switched them and the Bears basically in my rankings since last week. And Tom Brady's doing well. He got 5 touchdowns a couple weeks ago. Last week was pretty rough, but the Bears have a very strong defense. So next we have the two teams that have very strong defenses, but not the best offenses, are the Colts and the Bears. The Colts defense, even though very good, just got stomped on by Cleveland. So they got sent down a little ways. They got sent down 2 spots, I think. They used to be number 11. Now they're number 13. And the Bears got a couple of spots gained. So both teams moving a little bit there. And then the Patriots are rounding off this division at number 11. The Patriots, I have them at number 11 because the only teams we lost to are the Kansas City Chiefs and the Seattle Seahawks, who I have as 2 of the most elite teams in the league. Once Cam Newton gets healthy, which he should be healthy by next week, our team should be back to normal, and we'll continue our season as usual. I think that we're going to have a very strong season. Wild card weekend. So one thing I noticed is there aren't a lot of borderline playoff NFC teams. The AFC has a much more solid showing of playoff teams. The Browns are 4-1. The Titans are 3-0. The Rams are 4-1. They're in the NFC. The Raiders are 3-2. The Steelers are 5-0, and the Bills are 4-0. The AFC has had a much stronger showing than the NFC so far this season, and I was actually shocked by that. So the Browns starting off this category after a nice win against the Colts. I said whichever one of those teams won that game would make it to Wild Card Weekend, hence why the Browns are here now. The Titans dropped a couple spots just because other teams got raised up after their performances this week. I also expect them to lose to the Bills, so I put them at number 9. If they do lose to the Bills, then that makes sense. That's where they should be, maybe even below the Browns. Right above them is the Rams, who are also 4-1. They've had a very strong start to the season. They have a very strong team all around. Their defense and their offense are looking like they did in their Super Bowl appearance season, and I'm hoping to see another exciting season out of the Los Angeles Rams. The Raiders are coming up next. They are 3-2, but it's a very strong 3-2. So the Raiders are in fact 3-2, but so far this season they've had a very strong showing. Their only losses are to the Bills and the Patriots, who I think both have very, very strong teams, and it makes sense why those are their losses. They also beat the Chiefs yesterday in a 40-32 knockout battle. It was a very close game until the Raiders had a very strong third quarter, took over the game, got up 40-24, and there was no coming back for Kansas City. The Raiders are showing to be very strong, and I'm liking it. Next is the Steelers at 5-0. Enough said. They've been one of the most consistent teams in the league. They haven't played the most impressive opponents, but still they've been playing well, and that's what matters. The Bills are 4-0. They play the Titans on Tuesday night, and I expect it to be a very good game. I expect the Bills to win. They round out the Wild Card Weekend at number 5. And for our NFL elites, we have the Packers, who have taken the number 1 spot for the first time this season, the Chiefs and the Seahawks at number 2 and 3, and the Ravens at number 4. And so the number 1 spot's been revolving around between Green Bay, Seattle, and Kansas City. I had Seattle and Kansas City as 1 and 2 for every week leading up to this one, but Green Bay is number 1 now because Kansas City just took an L and Seattle had a rough game against Minnesota. Green Bay didn't play this week, it's their bye week, and I expect them to continue to play well next week. But Seattle had a very rough game against a not very good team. They started off not great, and then they had a couple of good plays, and they ended up winning the game at the end. But it wasn't the best Russell Wilson performance we've seen, although he does have 19 touchdowns, which is 4 more than Patrick Mahomes had in his 50-touchdown season. So I'm very excited to see what Russell Wilson does for the rest of the season. And speaking of Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs just took a loss to the Raiders, who again, frankly, are a very good team, but you can't be number 1 if there are other undefeated teams. So they dropped to number 3. Ravens are number 4. I could have the Steelers or the Bills in here, but the Ravens, they've been unstoppable. They lost to the Chiefs, but they had 2 amazing games against the Browns, who are turning out to be a very good team. So the Ravens have had some of the biggest margins of victory in the NFL, and you gotta give them credit. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my power rankings. I know last week's video got a whole lot of amazing comments, and I loved hearing all of your opinions. And it's been a lot of fun making these videos. I really enjoy it. So I hope you guys do enjoy watching my content. I do come out with new videos almost every day, and I make a power rankings video every week, Monday morning, so make sure to watch out for those. I really enjoy making these YouTube videos. It's a lot of fun, and all of the support has been amazing. So thank you guys so much. I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.